Hi friends, today let us learn about what and why of democracy using question and answers. What we see here is two of the greatest people on earth. One is Mahatma Gandhi, father of our nation who brought freedom to India, and another one is Nelson Mandela, who was a great leader and he fought against apartheid and he served as the first president of South Africa from 95 to 99. Okay, so mention some of the definition of democracy. Abraham Lincoln said democracy is a government of the people, by the people and for the people. The Greek word demokratia means, demos means people and kratia means rule. So demokratia is a rule by the people. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Mention some of the governments which are not democratic. The army rulers of Myanmar were not elected by people, so it is not a democracy. Dictators like Pinochet of Chile are not elected by the people, so it is not a democracy. Kings of Saudi Arabia, who are a monarchy family, rule not because they are elected by people but they are from the family, so it is not a democracy. Why was Musharraf government not a democracy? General Pervez Musharraf led a military coup in October 1999. He overthrew a democratically elected government and became president and granted himself 5-year extension. Pakistani media, human rights organization and democratic activists condemned this fraud. In August 2002, he changed the constitution. He gave president, that is himself, ability to abolish national and provincial assemblies that were elected by people so that most of the power will be with him only. So even though elections were held, elected leaders had only few powers. This is not democracy. Note, in a democracy, the final decision-making power must rest with the leaders elected by the people and not with somebody above them like Pervez Musharraf. Why Chinese 2002 to 2003 elections cannot be called democratic? To contest in elections for National People's Congress of China, a candidate must get an approval from Chinese Communist Party. And only the Chinese Communist Party, that is CCP, or the 8 parties who are friends of CCP were allowed to contest in elections in 2002 and 2003. CCP always had the full power. Common man cannot choose other leaders based on his decision. This is not democracy. Why before 2000 Mexican elections were not democratic? The PRI, or what is known as Institutional Revolutionary Party of Mexico, won all elections by dirty tricks. The government officers were forced to attend the PRI meetings. Teachers of government schools used to force kids' parents to vote for the PRI. And PRI used to change locations of voting at the last minute to make it difficult for people to vote. PRI used large amount of money to spend on campaign for their candidates. The common man cannot vote freely and hence it was not a democracy. Note, democracy must be based on free and fair election where those currently in power have a chance of losing. Okay, give examples where minorities were denied voting rights. Until 2015 in Saudi Arabia, women did not have right to vote. Estonia's citizenship rules make it difficult for Russian minority to get the right to vote. In Fiji electoral system, vote of an indigenous Fiji who is born and brought up in Fiji has more value than an Indian Fijian's vote who come and settled in Fiji from outside. So this is bad. In democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have equal value. Why Zimbabwe government was not democratic? President Mugabe was popular but he used unfair practices in elections. He changed the constitutions to his advantage. So popular people can also be non-democratic. Opposition party and independent newspapers were harassed in Zimbabwe. TV and radio were controlled by the government. Public protests against government were declared illegal and court judgments were ignored by the government. So because of all these reasons, though Robert Mugabe was popular, he was not democratic. What are the 4 main features of democracy? The 4 main features are: leaders are elected by the people, have the power to take major decisions on behalf of the people. Elections must be fair and offer a choice and opportunity to the people to change the current leaders. The choice and opportunity to vote is equal and available to all people. Fourth, elected government should follow some basic rules of the constitution and should serve to the citizens' rights. What are the disadvantages of democracy? Why is it not a magical solution? Leaders keep changing in democracy and this leads to instability. Democracy is a political competition and power play. There is no scope for morality, which will cause problems. Consulting many people can cause delays. Elected leaders, when disconnected with people they represent, may take wrong decisions. Democracy leads to corruption because it's based on electoral competition. Politicians bribe people for their favors. Common people who elect leaders are not smart. They may elect wrong leaders. And democracy ensures freedom to take decision, but it does not ensure whether it is the right or wrong decision. Despite of its disadvantages, why democracy is the best form of government? Democracy is better at responding to the needs of people as compared to dictatorship or monarchy, because in dictatorship or monarchy it depends on mood of the dictator or the monarch to cater to the needs of the people. Number of people can discuss, exchange ideas and take decisions in democracy even if the process is slow. The other advantage is different people with different religion, culture, ideology can get along with each other with a set of basic rules laid down by the constitution. Because each people with different ideology can stay in their location, in their home without disturbing others. Nobody is a permanent winner or a permanent loser in democracy. Democracy ensures dignity of citizens because it gives some basic right even to the poor people. Democracy gives a chance to correct its own mistakes. If it was a dictator or monarch, he would never agree that he has made a mistake. But democracy can admit that it has made a mistake and it can correct itself. Give some of the properties and requirements of an ideal democracy. In democracy, majority people rule through the elected representatives. Because it is hard to involve everyone in a decision. Because India has a population of 130 crores, we cannot ask everyone to be part of a decision making. Okay, and B, people might not have skills or time to take part in decision making because any decision that has to do with the military cannot be discussed with a common citizen. So he doesn't have skills to do that decision. Second, democracy is also a principle that can be applied to any sphere of life. For example, even in family, you can have a democratic family. You can have a discussion between father, mother and children and come to a democratic decision. You can have a democratic discussion between the students in a school. So democracy can be applied to various phases of life. For ideal democracy, every citizen needs to have not only equal rights but also equal information, basic education, equal resources and a lot of commitment. Because if you provide the right to vote but the person is not smart enough to know whom to vote, then he will do a bad job at it. Gram Sabha in village can call all the villagers to a meeting and take decisions because number of people in a village are small, right? There will be only 1,000, 2,000 or 5,000 people. So all those people can be brought together and a democratic decision can be taken by discussion at one time. Democracy depends on active political participation by all citizens. As citizens, we all have to vote, think who will be the best leader for us and vote. If we don't participate politically, then the democracy will fail. No country is a perfect democracy, but we try to make it as perfect as possible. We have thoroughly studied, digested, thought about and simplified the concepts for you. So please like, share and subscribe.